Hi, in this topic, we're going to look at Azure Resource Manager and specifically how you can use templates to simplify your life and thinking about when you're going from production environments and you want to duplicate to other environments like dev, test, and prod, QA.
Yeah, definitely something that you're going to run into when you start deploying, these workloads out to Azure, especially in the IaaS space, being able to spin up VMs, but it's not specific to IaaS, right? So we could do things in PaaS or even just stuff that's in Azure, storage and those kind of things, provisioning those. So it's important that we're able to kind of script these out. And in the past, what we had with Azure was we had our Service Management API, which is our REST API that sits above everything in Azure. And that's great if you're a developer and you want to write some code to actually do these things dynamically or on the fly or wrap applications around them, but not a lot of people need to build a whole application around just deployment. Mark, you brought up a great point, is people just want to deploy their workloads up there, right? And they want to make sure that it's in a consistent fashion and that it happens the same way. And so we came up with this concept of resource groups, which again is a kind of like a container, right? So we can build these groups up there in Azure, and then we can start to put our assets, our Azure assets inside of there, whether it's storage or networking or our VMs or our cloud services, all these different assets that we have in Azure, we can kind of wrap those, and it actually has multiple functions, right? So one of the things you can do is obviously it provides some sanity for people who are deploying your stuff to Azure, because now they can kind of filter their views up there to say, I just want to look at the stuff for dev. I just want to look at the stuff for staging. I just want to look at HR stuff. I just want to look at IT stuff. So we can kind of provide queries and kind of filtering based around these resource groups right now, which is great. But it can also be used as a target for scripts. So if we had PowerShell scripts and we have all this stuff wrapped up, we could say, okay, so all the network stuff, or let's say VMs, all the VMs that are in the IT group, a resource group, target them with this script that's going to go do something to all those. But don't touch the HR ones, right? So that's a great use case for where this grouping would be important.
Cale, sometimes I hear about this term called immutable infrastructure. What does that refer to?
So immutable basically means that we can make sure that we have consistency in what we're building up there. We don't just spin up a VM and then somebody goes up and tweaks it, right? So if we have templated versions of how we should build these things, we can guarantee kind of consistency about what's running up there. Enterprises specifically are all about this. They don't want it to be handoff, one build every time. Somebody has to go in and tweak settings and those kind of things. That doesn't lead to a very consistent experience. So templates and an immutable infrastructure is really what that's about, is how can we build a JSON file, and I'll show you some here in a second, that basically can describe what our infrastructure is up there or what pieces are in Azure. So if you take a look at GitHub, actually our product team is actually pouring templates in here constantly. And these are what's called ARM templates. You hear the word ARM, it's Azure Resource Management, that's what it stands for. And really what ARM is about is, can we create these templates? And if I pick one here, like a simple Windows VM, you can see they're JSON files. And when you go into the JSON file, you'll see that it describes all the different elements. Could we do this in PowerShell? Absolutely. We can do the same thing in PowerShell. It's going to call into the Service Management API. But then we have a PowerShell script to maintain, as opposed to we create a template out here, we can version the template, and we can maintain that and use that going forward. Now, these by themselves, these templates that describe what you're going to actually build up there in Azure, they exist right as a JSON file that can be versioned, but they can't execute themselves. And there is no import feature into the actual portal right now to bring these things in. So we use PowerShell to actually orchestrate it. So if we took a look at what that might look like, really what we're saying is we have this file over here that we create, this JSON file, and pardon my brackets, but so we have this JSON file that describes what we're going to actually deploy up there. We're going to take that thing and we're going to feed it into a PowerShell command, right? And that PowerShell command is basically just going to say, go get this template from this location. Hopefully it's version controlled in some respect. It's going to grab that template and then it's going to give it to the Service Management API or the Resource Manager over in Azure. And Azure knows how to interpret that thing, right? So when we pass that over, we say, go ahead and create 5 of these. We're done. We've just told Azure everything it needs to go do it. We didn't have to have a script running any longer than that, and all of our actual elements that make up it are not in the script themselves, they're in that template. The script is simply executing that template. And that's really the key goal of what that is. Again, you can target resource groups or templates are just a part of resource groups. You can also use them to target them with scripts. So if we wanted to delete infrastructure, let's say we spun up a dev environment or a special environment just to test something, and then we wanted to just like hurry up and delete everything up there because we're finished with it. That's a great place where resource groups can.
And then I can keep cloning those templates too, right, for different environments.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what makes it really important because we can take those templates, they're just JSON. We can hand edit them with whatever favorite editor we have and change whatever elements we need. So great tool.
Very cool.
And with that, that wraps up the topic on Azure Resource Manager.